everyone, Doug here. Welcome back to yet another board game channel where we will be starting yet another, in this case, card game playthrough as I return to the world of Sentinels of the Multiverse. We're going to fight one of the easier villains. Decided if I continue doing Sentinels, I'm going to start with all the level 1 villains and then kind of work my way up through the harder and harder ones and see how well we do. So yes, we're starting with one of the level 1 villains, namely Baron Blade, who is usually the nemesis of Legacy, the Superman type. He's kind of a Lex Luthor type, crossed with Dr. Doom. Have a quick look at his bio to see. Like his father before him, Ivan Romanot was brilliant. When his father died as the result of a battle with the Legacy of that generation, Ivan swore vengeance, becoming the self-proclaimed ruler of Mordengrad, the town that housed his father's weapons manufacturing plants. He became Baron Blade. He plotted his revenge, inventing bizarre and dangerous weapons. He held the Legacy line responsible for his father's death, and he would eradicate them. He avenged his father's death by killing Legacy, but not before the powers of young Paul Parsons manifested. This next Legacy proved a much greater nemesis, and his new powers included impenetrable skin. Desperate, Baron Blade planned to destroy the world itself. He set about building his Terralunar Impulsion Beam, a device which would pull the moon into the Earth. He's not actually going to be fighting Legacy. Randomly chosen the minimum 3 heroes to go up against him. We'll have a look at those shortly. Let's just have a look at the Baron and see how he is set up. Yes, here is the Baron. As you can see, he starts with 40 HP. He will be starting on his Terralunar Impulsion Beam Inventor side. Have a look at what he does. So, set up. Yes, we put him the Terralunar Impulsion Beam Inventor side up to start with. Search the villain deck for the card Mobile Defense Platform and put it into play, which we have done. We'll look at that in a second. Then we shuffle the deck. Gameplay. At the start of the villain turn, if there are 15 or more cards in the villain trash, Baron Blade's Terralunar Impulsion Beam activates, pulling the moon into the Earth. Game over. So we can lose 2 ways, having all of our heroes drop, or this 15 cards in the villain trash. So we want to take him out on this side quickly. Oh yes, it doesn't actually point out here. Oh yes, I forgot this last bit. When Baron Blade would be destroyed, flip Baron Blade's villain character cards instead, where he will become the Vengeful Mad Scientist. We'll have a look at that. That's not going to come up for quite a while, so we'll look at that when it happens. So yes, what we had to put into play was one of he's got several, Mobile Defense Platforms, which has 10 HP. It's a device. Baron Blade is immune to damage. We can't get to him until we take this out. As Legacy says in Moonfall, issue 9, until we take that blasted floating fortress out, Blade is practically untouchable. So, we have added the immune to damage token next to him, although it's not something we're likely to forget. Alright, that's Blade. Now let's have a look at our heroes and see who is going to go up against him. Alright, up first from the Rook City expansion, we have Mr. Fixer. our martial artist. We'll have a look at his bio, and, well, let's look at his card first, and then we'll talk about his bio. See, he starts with 28 HP, and his power is Strike. For his power, he deals 1 target, 1 melee damage. And yes, he can make his fighting better by taking out various tools and special, they're called styles, right? His martial arts fighting styles, which alters the way his damage works. So, his bio. The old mechanic who only answers to Slim used to run a martial arts school for kids in Rook City, basically Gotham. Then, about 30 years ago, a group of his students were gunned down by drug dealers for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Slim closed the school the next day. For years, Slim just ran his auto shop, fixing up cars without charging much at all. But with the pushers and dealers expanding their territories, threatening more people each day, Slim took to the streets, tools in hand. Taking the new name Mr. Fixer, he drew upon his martial arts expertise and his dauntless will to begin his personal war against crime in his neighborhood and eventually all of Rook City. And like all heroes, eventually around the world, because you get pulled into things. So that, yes, that's Mr. Fixer. Let's have a look at our second hero. Up next, we have Parse, who comes from the Vengeance expansion. Kim Howell was a part of a task force working over code from the sentient AI Omnitron, who we've seen in my previous playthrough of this. She was monitoring the remaining live programming when the cosmic event transpired that reactivated Omnitron in a more powerful form. The overflow of information upgraded Kim's mental abilities, allowing her to analyze what she saw at a superhuman level. She could see connections between seemingly unrelated events, weak points in structures and in people, even major after effects of otherwise unimportant actions. Coupled with her skill at archery, she could make a difference in ranged situations with pinpoint accuracy. Given her ability to perceive and dissect information, she took the name Parse and contacted by the Freedom Five, who enlisted her help against the nefarious misinformation. Now she aids teams of heroes with her unique outlook. Yes, Parse can see flaws in things and make us better at hitting them by letting us know. Hit them there. So she starts with 26 HP. Her default power is her pinpoint shot, which allows her to deal 1 target 2 projectile damage. So now we will have a look at our third and final hero. Okay, Fanatic, like Baron Blade, comes from the base introductory set for Sentinels. 6-year-old Helena was hit by a bus in the streets of Lima, Peru. By all rights, she should not have even survived the ambulance ride. More miraculously still, after being declared dead in the hospital for exactly 3 minutes, she sat up, speaking of heavenly visions and a divine mission. With no known family or memories from before the accident, Helena was placed in the care of a local convent at her own request. Puberty brought an unusual change for her. Giant white feathery wings sprang forth from her back. When she dramatically revealed her transformation during Mass, she was driven from the convent. Taking refuge in hidden catacombs under Lima, she stumbled upon an ancient reliquary. Here she donned the armor of a Templar, taking up the sword to launch her holy crusade to purge the world of evil. So, basically, a reluctant angel. She tends to do righteous things. I can see she starts with HP of 30, and her power is Exorcism. Fanatic deals 1 target, 1 melee damage, and 1 radiant damage. Finally, we're going to have a quick look at the environment where we will be battling Baron Blade. So we will be trying to thwart Baron Blade's plans in the area of the Temple of Zhulong. Hidden amongst the peaks of the Himalayas, the Temple of Zhulong is a place of many eldritch secrets. The mystic Zhulong keeps his magics hidden from the world there, protected by his scores of apprentices, wards, and assassins. Many find themselves in life debt to Zhulong, and it is a steep debt indeed. But what price could be a fair one for cheating death itself? Surrounded by unfavorable conditions, Zhulong has found a spot which harnesses the harshest of ley lines in order to perform his rituals. You would be wise to never visit the Temple of Zhulong. We're doing it anyway. However, sometimes there is no other way, like now. The ancient purveyor of life and death holds the keys to certain doors which should remain closed. Yes, apparently Blade has decided he's going to go someplace remote to try to destroy the world, but we've tracked him down anyway. So we're going to get right into our first turn, and as always, the villain gets to go first. Okay, Baron Blade, start of turn, we check the trash, nothing there. So now, he will play a card. Oh, and it's a Blade Battalion, which is the keyword minion. At the end of the villain turn, this card deals the hero target with the highest HP X melee damage, where X equals the current HP of this card. And our flavor text is Tachyon in an issue of Freedom 5 saying, "Give me a break, not these guys again." Yeah, Blade tends to have rather a lot of minions following him around. So, we are now going to hit the end of the villain phase, villain turn, which means that, yes, the Blade Battalion is going to do 5 damage, because that's their HP, to the hero with the highest HP. That is going to be Fanatic. So we're going to take 5 away from her, leaving her at 25 hit points. But now we get to fight back. Okay, so nothing happens at the start of Mr. Fixer's turn. So our first thing we're going to do is play a card. I'll go over all the details as I play them. We'll just quickly say charge, lets him do a quick hit. Grease Gun will stop us from taking, well, stop anybody but us from doing any damage. Harmony will increase his damage under certain circumstances, and the card we're actually going to play is his Grease Monkey Fist. It's an ongoing style. Whenever Mr. Fixer deals damage, you may choose the type of damage and increase that increased damage dealt by Mr. Fixer by 1. When this card enters play, destroy all other style cards in play. You can only have, obviously, you can only be fighting in one martial arts style at any given moment. Our flavor text: attack suddenly, attack violently, attack without end. We're going to put that there and to remind us that he gets to do a little bit more damage. I'm going to add the +1 damage dealt. So now we are going to use a power. His strike is going to deal 1 target, 1 melee damage, except it's going to be 2 because of his Grease Monkey Fist. We're going to do 2 damage to the mobile defense platform. I'm just going to go from 10 down to 8. We can choose the damage type, but we'll just leave it at melee as it makes no difference in this case. Then we are going to draw a card. Oh, it's his overdrive. It lets him use his strike power twice during a turn. Alright, that is all for Mr. Fixer. Now on to Parse. Alright, Parse, she's got a card that lets her look at cards in decks and put them on top or bottom. She can do a shot on something and draw a card. And she's got 2 copies of Targeting Arrow. We're going to actually use the Targeting Arrow. It's a 1-shot. Parse deals a 1 target, 1 irreducible projectile damage, and increase damage dealt to that target by 1 until the start of your turn. As we quote in Cosmic Concurrence number 1, only a few clicks away, shouldn't be too much of a problem. She's very good with a bow and arrow. So, she's going to do that, which is going to hit the mobile defense platform. It only does 1 to it. However, until the beginning of Parse's next turn, it's going to take an extra 1 point of damage every time it is hit. So that will go into her trash. Next, let's stay here, because what Parse is going to do now is use her pinpoint shot, which will deal 1 target 2 projectile damage. She's actually going to hit the Blade Battalion, leaving it at 3, and you'll see why we hurt them a little bit rather than the mobile defense platform. When we go to Fanatic's turn, but before we do, Parse draws a card. She gets Recompile. Oh yeah, lets her discard cards and draw twice as many to bulk up her hand nicely. Alright, on to Fanatic. Alright, Fanatic is going to play a card. She's going to play Final Dive, which is a 1-shot, with a nice little quote from her from Absolution issue 12, Meet Thy Maker. Destroy a target, just wipe it out, with 4 or fewer HP, other than a character card. We wouldn't be able to do it to, say, Baron Blade. So yeah, we're going to wipe out the Blade Battalion, boom, just in 1 shot, as it only has 3 HP now. Then Fanatic deals 1 target X projectile damage, where X equals the destroyed target's current HP before it was destroyed. So if we go over to the villain area, you can see how that takes effect. So yes, she presumably, as you can see from the picture, just swoops in from the air, snags this out of the way, wiping it out, putting it into the trash, and then it had 3 HP when she destroyed it, so it's going to do 3. We're going to do that 3 damage to the defense platform, except it's actually 4. Because of the targeting arrow from Parse. Now, for her power, Fanatic is going to use her Exorcism, deal 1 target, 1 melee, and 1 radiant damage. It's actually going to be 2 and 2 because of the increased damage taken. So 2 for the melee, and then the radiant damage takes out the last one, destroying the mobile defense platform, and next turn, assuming he doesn't turn up another one, we can actually start attacking Baron Blade directly. Then, to finish Fanatic's turn, she will draw a card, her Prayer of Desperation, which lets her draw up to 6 cards. Well, draw until she's got 6 cards in her hand, but it does immediately end her turn. So you only use that if you really need to. Alright, our heroes have gone. Now we're just going to see how the Temple of Zhulong reacts to all this nonsense. Alright, what does the Temple of Zhulong have in store for us? We get the Apprentice Poisoner, who only has 3 HP. Dragon's Student keyword. At the end of the environment turn, this card deals the 3 non-environment targets with the lowest HP 1 toxic damage each. When this card is destroyed, it first deals each non-environment target, so that'll be hero and villain, 1 toxic damage. So it's going to keep whittling away at us with poison. So you'll want to destroy it, but when we do, it'll do one last hurrah. Her flavor text. I learned much from the poisoners in that temple, mused the operative, as she slid another needle into Knife's twitching back. Perhaps too much. I think that text is from a bad alternate future, if I recall the lore correctly. Anyway, we will put the poisoner down there. Give her, it does look like a her in the art, give her 3 HP. But now, having reached the end of the environment phase, is going to deal the 3 non-environment targets with the lowest HP 1 damage each. That's going to be just our 3 heroes. This Baron Blade still has 40, and we all have definitely less than 40. So that will leave Mr. Fixer at 27, Parse at 25, and Fanatic at 24. Okay, I think I'm just going to do the 1 turn for this video, as there was a nice lengthy introduction. So we'll just zoom out and wrap up. Okay, first turn concluded. I'll probably do 2 or 3 turns per video, depending on how quickly each one goes in future. I just had a lot of yapping to do at the beginning of this one. So fairly successful. We got rid of the defense platform right away. So this turn, again, depending on what blade flips over, we can start hammering on him. Try to stop him from pulling the moon into the earth. That would be bad. So I will see you all next time. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing to the channel and liking the videos both on YouTube and Board Game Geek. I appreciate it. And I will see you next time for yet another episode of Sentinels of the Multiverse as we fight Baron Blade. So long.